Afternoon. So I wanted to talk to everybody a minute. Something I keep hearing, whether I'm trying to make plans with friends, family, coworkers, I keep hearing the same thing over and over again. Man, you sure make things difficult. First off, my choice is not a burden to me. If I go someplace and someone has not accommodated for me, they have not made sure that there were items or options for me to eat, I don't get upset by that. Disappointed because when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. My wife accuses me of becoming hangry sometimes, but whatever. I don't get upset by that. It's not something that offends me. It's something that happens less and less. But don't tell me I'm being difficult or make things difficult because of my choice to be vegan. Being a vegan is not just about a diet. It's about my overall ethical beliefs of how animals should be treated, how they are not products, how they are not labels, how they are not byproducts, and how I am not going to contribute to their torture, the cruelty involved, or their deaths. That's what it's about for me. I didn't grow up this way. I'm not shy about that. I used to be a hunter. My wife and I both grew up, unfortunately, consuming animals, consuming dairy products. Never really thought twice about it. And then the more I think about this, when people say you make things difficult, it really boils down to their conscience is making things difficult, not me. When they hear why, or hear the information that I share that pigs are slaughtered at 6 months old. Pigs are slaughtered at 6 months old. They're babies. When they hear that grass puppies, big cows, they just want to play and have their chins scratched and their ears rubbed, and they want to be loved on just like a puppy does. They want to play, they want to be with their family, they want to be with their mamas, and that's where they belong. When people start hearing these things, their conscience starts eating at them, and that's what's really making things difficult. So it's not me. And I don't shy away from that. And anytime, I try not to be overly blunt and forceful. I try to be kind about my message. I try to encourage and educate individuals why I feel the way I do and encourage them to look at things differently in their lives. There are some people who they still have blinders on. They don't want to hear it. They'll put cotton balls in their ears and turn the other way and make their jokes and comments that aren't funny anymore to me. And that's okay. We'll get there. One of the other things I've heard multiple people talk about is, as vegans, something I really think we need to stop saying is, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. That's not really true. You can. You physically could. It might make you sick. You might not like it. You're not going to be happy about it. But you physically could. So can't's not the right word. The word we need to use and encourage all of our vegan friends to use is, I won't eat that. I won't contribute to the cruelty. I won't contribute to the torture, and I will not consume that animal or animal byproduct. Simple as that. It's not any more or any less argumentative. It's just a change in the words that have a different meaning. Because you could possibly eat that, but you won't, and I won't. I'm also not afraid to talk to hunters, to ranchers, to farmers, because I grew up hunting animals. I grew up thinking they were put here on this earth for our consumption. If it wasn't for my wife being strong enough to tell me that she was done eating meat, that she was done being a hypocrite, I wouldn't be here talking to you about this. So my wife, she followed a cow named Dudley at the Gentle Barn. She became just enamored every day that there was a video that they'd post of him. They'd post a video of him or a picture, and he he had these big old goofy like chiclet teeth that were just adorable, and he had this big old smile and this look on his face, and she felt like a hypocrite because she loved this cow and cared what happened to him, cared about his story, but yet she was putting hamburger on the table for us to eat. She was putting chicken on the table for us to eat, feeding our family. And that's when it triggered with her that she said, I can't do this anymore. She called me at work and hung up. She literally called me at work and said, I'm done eating meat. Click. She didn't wait for me to huff, sigh, argue, a rebuttal, nothing. She knew she was going to hang up the phone and run because she was scared to tell me she was done eating meat. As a husband, that makes me feel like crap that my wife was afraid to tell me something. But she knew how deep-rooted and stubborn I was. She knew that hunting in my family was traditions that went on for generations. She was scared to tell me. So I'm glad she was strong enough to tell me that. And I'm glad that I was smart enough to listen to what she was saying. And then when I met Dudley for the first time myself, that's when it clicked for me. That's when I knew I went from going to be someone who used to hunt animals to consume them to someone who's going to do everything he could to protect them, to defend them. There's no question about it. That's now my path. That's my passion. That's something that's very important to me. There are lots of people that may not understand that. There are lots of people that don't understand why I feel the way I do now, why such a big change. The last couple of days, I've had some friends of mine, and including my own post, the 10-year challenge pick. 10 years ago, I was 310 pounds. At 40 years old today, I feel so much healthier than I have in 20 years or better. The pictures speak for themselves. You can look at any of them that are out there, any of my vegan friends. Look at the Sud brothers. Those two fellas, my God, like their transformation from being animal-consuming carnists to vegan activists has been incredible. I am inspired by their story, and I appreciate everyone else out there that shares their own stories. The reason I choose to share my story, I live in a small farm town in Ohio. The reason I choose to share my story because there are other men out there who live in Ohio that have grown up the same way I have. Grown up hunting, grown up consuming animals 3 meals a day. And that has to change. Unfortunately, being in this part of the country, and unfortunately like many parts of this country, people aren't going to change by reading it on the news. People aren't going to change by seeing it on TV. People are going to change because, man, Chris used to be a hunter. If he can do it, I can. All it takes is to plant that seed with someone. You plant that seed so that way it can start to grow. And as it does, and their conscience grows, as their hearts start to open, as their eyes are peeled wide open, instead of living a life with their eyes wide shut, it's very empowering. And I really appreciate, and I'm very vocal about showing my appreciation for my wife being strong enough to tell me that she was done eating meat. I don't appreciate her hanging up on me, but whatever. You can't have it all, right? So, I really appreciate this journey. I appreciate all the wonderful people we met on the way, all the support, all the mentors, all the guidance. I think 2019 is going to be a big year for vegan activists, and I think it's going to take all of us to reach everyone that we possibly can to make a difference. And without a doubt, things are changing, but we've got to keep it up. We've got to keep sharing our stories. You never know who your story might connect with, so please make sure you do the same.